Right, welcome back. You know, this place is actually known for a lot of things. Of course, it's known as one of the leading, one of the places where it produces horticulture. It's also known for its giant bananas. I'm talking about Nyaribari Chache constituency in Kisii County. Today we are talking to the Member of Parliament, Dr. Chris Bichage, is in studio here with us in the Power Breakfast Show. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning. Good morning.
Karibu sana. Of course, you're not a new entrant in the world of politics. Of course, you tried out in 2002. This is your third attempt at being a Member of Parliament. And finally, the people decided you are going to be their Member of Parliament.
Actually, I started in 92.
1992.
Yes,
remember?
Even before that, I was in the Second Liberation. I am a founder member of National Constitution Executive Committee, the precursor to the new Constitution, 2010. I was agitating with Kifuta Kibwana and Orengo, Raila, the likes. I was in the region of Ford. We are the people who agitated for removal of Section 2A. And we are the people who agitated for power to be devolved to the citizens, to the grassroots. And at least I'm happy that even the 40th state, we fought for you. To the extent now that those of us who are unfortunate in Parliament now are being demonized because of the generosity of information flow.
Tell us why you're sitting on that side. We normally would have wanted to sit that side. Why are you sitting on that side?
These are some of the prices I've paid during the struggle, precisely in Nyaribari Chache in 1992. We were trying to have a rally in my constituency. I was trying to run against, but then my cousin was very powerful, Honorable Simeon Nyachai, and I had no problem with Simeon Nyachai, as you know, but I had a problem with the government. GSU were there, and you remember those days, still the establishment didn't believe in opposition. And they didn't believe that despite Section 2A was removed, that anybody could even dream to oppose KANU. And we were to have a rally in my constituency, and all the big wigs of the opposition were in Nyaribari Chache. And you've never seen a contingent of GSU like you saw that day. And they beat us up badly. I remember Buya and Chris Bichage were beaten on the tarmac. And we were beaten with the gun bats so badly that my eardrum burst. And instead of being taken to hospital, I was taken to jail. And I remember we were put in a small cell in Keumbu, a few of us. That was, I remember, Toby Manyara, Raila Odinga, Chris Bichage. Luckily now, late Wamalwa was not able to be put in the cell. And he's the one who later helped us and made sure that we were gotten out of jail, and I was taken to hospital. But it was too late. My eardrum had burst. And it's been permanent like that. We tried to have a transplant. It wasn't possible. So I have 1 year. So much as I may look handsome, I don't know what I am.
You are.
I'm disabled.
Were you ever compensated?
I've not been compensated.
Why haven't you sued?
I never knew that I would sue, but now, on second thought, I think I should sue now, having seen some people succeeding. You remember where we're coming from. You never knew that you could sue government. But with the new dispensation, that's something maybe I should think about.
How did you do it? From 92 to 2013, the struggle to be a member of Parliament. Why did you succeed this time?
Thank you. I would say simply I must have shifted my paradigm. In 92, you know, KANU won. In 2007, in 97, I didn't run. In 2002, I was in NAC, and I was President Kibaki's campaign manager in Nyanza province. So you'd say I won. So they said, some of you can run, some of you can support the system and be accommodated. So I represented Kibaki, and I worked very hard, and I delivered Nyanza. I was not accommodated. And I'm not alone. So many of us were not accommodated.
Accommodated means what? What did you expect?
I expected to be given a chance to serve. But I was happy that at least we had made a statement. We had changed power from KANU to the new group, a new group of leaders. So KANU at least was dislodged. Kibaki beat Uhuru Kenyatta, you remember, 92. And so the status quo was changed. So in a way, I celebrated, because it brought new relief and a new thinking, a new kind of atmosphere in Kenya. And it also helped bring new space, political space, for us to deal. Deal meaning interacting with Kenyans, and also the media was given much freedom to talk about what we were doing. You remember in the past, the media were also suppressed. You couldn't write too much. And I remember Citizen was one of the victims that time. So despite I didn't go to Parliament, I felt very good about it. Even it gave new opportunities to do business, because in the past, even business was skewed to government-friendly companies. So I started, after Kibaki got into power, said, if you don't have a job, do something. And I went into, I went more into business in 2002, and I continued working in logistics. I am currently in shipping, clearing and forwarding. And then you could go to offices and people could still receive you, and some would say, hey, you are Kibaki's campaign manager in Nyanza, hey, I can give you a container to bring to Nairobi. And that's how I started. And eventually I went into, as you know, when I was in Coffee Board, I was in cooperative politics.
Yeah.
I used to be very, very much involved in cooperative politics in Nairobi province. I was elected a director of cooperative bank, a director of cooperative insurance, Cusco. And in a way, the current cooperative setting, the way it is now, I played a big part in making sure that, for instance, we converted cooperative bank from a marketing bank to a commercial bank today. So when I joined the private sector after 2002, I started transport and logistics, and eventually I was elected president of Commercial Freight Forwarders Association. Then I did my postgraduate diploma in freight logistics in Zurich. And then I started East African Federation of East African Freight Forwarders. And we actually made sure that we reduced corruption in international trade, more particularly in Kenya, by introducing computers. You know, the Simba system, where custom clearance was being done now, is now being done online. I was a major player. At that time, I was the national chairman of Federation of Kenya International Freight Forwarders Association. And we tried to clean the port of Mombasa. And I can say without fear of contradiction that I've been at the forefront in trying to clean up logistics in the region, not just in Kenya. If you talk about the single window system in clearance of goods in Kenya, you know, it's been a nightmare to handle cargo in this country, in this region, not in this country. If you go to Mombasa and you are clearing a car, in those days, you could probably end up paying more getting that car from Mombasa to Nairobi than you paid to get it from Japan to Mombasa. But I'm happy that that is coming down. And then it will take you months to get it, 1 or 2 months to get it out. And we insisted it should be same day. If the car lands, get it out within 7 days. I participated in making sure that happens. I was not the only one, but I was a major player in making sure that we interact, government, private sector, and the service providers like me, to make sure that the citizen gets value for money.
Right. Of course, the people of Nyaribari Chache would really want to know whether you're going to deliver above your predecessors. And perhaps just to capture some of the questions that are coming in, remember you can actually forward your questions directly to Bichage. Bichage. The number is 2442. That's 2442. We have a message here from Borongo. He says, Mr. Bichage, what has failed your predecessors is taking in illiterates for advisors. What are you doing to bring professionals on board? Do you know they exist?
Thank you. Thank you very much. As you're aware, we were elected on 4th of March, and we are still finding our ground. As you know, it's been a long journey for me. I've been trying to be a member of parliament since 1992. But for me, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Getting here, in a way, is only one stop towards realization of my objective. And my objective and focus is to make sure that the people of Nyaribari Chache become major players in national politics. And it has to start at the grassroots. And I'm excited that right now we are talking about devolution. Devolution, eventually, should be, all activity should be at the grassroots. But currently, I understand that we have a transition where the CDF fund will be there for 3 years, and if it works, and I pray that it works, everything now will go through the governor. You can't do this without professionals. And Nyaribari Chache has got its own share of professionals, very many learned people from that constituency, professors, doctors, engineers, accountants. And my prayer is that they don't see me as a boss. They see me as a first among equals. I want to have everybody involved in running that constituency. And part of the reason I've been a bit quiet is, one, I've been trying to find out how to be more effective. For instance, we have this task of creating the development committee for the constituency. And the law, as actually the CDF guidelines, for instance, has said it must be participatory democracy, just like we were elected. We must also get people who are popular at the grassroots to sit on the CDF committee. It's been reduced to a level where by about 8 only will come from the grassroots. I've got 6 wards, and I'm already engaging my ward representatives and telling them every ward rep and the chief and the sub-chief, because it must be participatory, must go to the area and get out the best 5. So if you have 6 by 5, you have 30 people. Out of these 30 people, then the MP will, through consultation, pick the best 8. They don't have to be my friends. I don't have to know them. But there are people whom the grassroots leaders and voters are comfortable that they're going to run their agenda for the next 5 years. And once we get 30, and every ward should give me their best 5, such that any 8 we pick from that 30, they take responsibility for making sure that if they mess up the constituency, they don't just blame Bichage, they blame all of us. And this is the plea I'm giving to my constituents this morning. And if we are talking about learned people, and it is contentious, even I'm told that the reason salaries for parliament are coming down is because the qualification to be a policeman is a C+, but the qualification to be a member of parliament is nothing. And for that reason, society doesn't think that a member of parliament should pay a lot of money. But my thinking is different. My thinking is different, that if you have 10 people in the constituency, one is a PhD, one is a professor, and another one is never gone to school. If that word, for instance, thinks that this man who's never gone to school has got the best ideas to propagate us in development agenda for these 5 years, and they pick an illiterate as opposed to a lecturer, you can't fault them, because everybody has a weakness and a strength. I've known professors who can't do business, who can't run a business. I know people like Kogelo Foods. He's my friend. The fellow I don't think has gone to, he's got very modest academic qualifications, but you give a professor that business, you may not be able to get your fish in Gaga the way you want it. Yeah. So let's not, much as we can't rubbish education, education of course is number one. At the same time, you can't say that if you've not gone to school, you cannot be a good leader. Because a leader is somebody who is able to use the facilities he has on the table. If you have this old man who is good at knowing that Mutegi Njau is the best in media, and he puts Mutegi Njau there and he delivers, then that man has done his job. I believe a good leader is the one who can get output out of the resources he has on the table. So my view is this. I'm telling Nyaribari Chache residents, pick the best to deliver your objective. Right. But if you get somebody who is learned from your word, who is good, is even better. That's the way I look at it. But don't make it a hard and fast rule that if you don't have a university degree, you are not going to sit on the CDF committee. Me, I will not be, despite I'm learned, I will not use that as a yardstick.
What's the relationship between the governor and the senator?
What?
The relationship between the governor and the senator?
Very good, currently, and I hope it continues like that. We've had meetings with our governor and our senator, and we've told the senator in Kisii County, Honorable James Ongwae. Do we call them Honorable or His Excellency? I don't know what title the governor has been given. I don't know, the media may have a better... But I'll call him Honorable because I don't think you can call him His Excellency for now, but His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta may feel a bit challenged.
No.
But considering that the governor is the president in quotes of
he's
county,
the president of the county.
He's the president of the county. I won't mind calling him His Excellency, but that's for another group of people.
They won't be called His Excellency because even they won't be allowed to have the national flag.
Correct. So what we told Ongwae, and I'm lucky because he's my friend, we were college together, was 1 year ahead of me at Nairobi University. If you listen to all elected leaders, you'll be a successful governor. That's what we told him. The 9 of us, 10 of us, 9 MPs, and 1 women rep, who were 10. Then the senator was in the meeting. We met and told our governor, we will all support you. For you to succeed as a governor, Nyaribari Chache must shine, because it's part of Kisii County. Kitutu Chache must shine. Bobasi must shine. So let's see how together we can lift our people to the next level. Whatever I have for CDF, whatever you have for the funds that are going direct to the governor, I think it's 15%. We have 2% coming through CDF. And we've also said that, and actually I intend to introduce a bill in Parliament, that women reps should also be given some kitty to manage gender-specific affairs at the county. All these resources should be pulled in one pot. So if I'm doing a road somewhere in Nyaribari Chache, I don't want a scenario where the governor will come and say, hey, that's for the governor to do. Or if I'm doing a borehole at the backyard to help some people who have a crisis with water. That's one of the things I'm dreaming of, to get the pots out of the women's heads in Nyaribari Chache. We should always work in convergence. So we want to work together. We want to support the governor. We want our people to progress. So, and the governor said he's going to work on that. We are going to work together. I'll tell him I've got CDF maybe of 50 million. I put it on the table. We want to know through the ward rep what can be done in his ward, so that at any one time, and then we must have media, we must announce what we are doing. And this is what in the past has become a problem. Because if we work very hard, and as you say, if you light a lamp and put it under the table, people don't know that you have lit a lamp. We are talking about development. We're talking about infrastructure, which is a big challenge. You talked about Matoke. We do Matoke. Every Kisii man or woman has 1 or 2 stumps of Matoke growing. But we want what they call, Mutegi Njau calls, not the other guy Gunyi says, tyranny of numbers. If you are doing 10 stumps of bananas alone, you won't feel the impact. But if everybody in Kisii brings their bananas together, it will be a big, big thing, and it will be a major national player in banana marketing.
But just to touch a bit on the banana, because the constituency is best known for its giant bananas, and there was a concern about what you have in place to make sure that farmers have better marketing outlets.
Thank you. In my other life, before I became a member of parliament, part of the things I've been juggling, as I told you, I've done a postgraduate diploma in international freight, logistics and shipping. And I've also been trained by the European Union in Holland on multilateral trade, market access, and trade facilitation. I'm also the deputy chairman for GS1, which helps in barcoding and point-of-sale technology. What I want to bring on the table is marketing expertise. As Mudegi knows, I did a lot in marketing coffee, Kenya coffee, all over the world. We want to allow these banana farmers, small-scale banana farmers, and actually not only bananas, we're talking about bananas, we're talking about sugarcane, we're talking about avocado. People don't know that Kisii is the biggest producer of avocados in Kenya, probably in East Africa. And we're talking about, basically now, milk also. Milk, we produce a lot of milk, zero grazing. Then we produce, there are a lot of horticulture. There's a big potential for horticulture in Kisii, but people don't know about greenhouse farming in Kisii. So you have asked me a very good question. What am I going to do in marketing? One is to ensure that the infrastructure, especially road network, is improved aggressively. That's something I'm going to work very hard with the governor to make sure that I spend all my CDF money and more in opening up the small roads connecting up to where the mama is growing 2, 3, a quarter an acre of bananas. That banana should come to the market. When I was campaigning, I also promised that I am going to agitate either through the governor or through the CDF to build a cold room at Keumbu. You may know that Keumbu is the biggest informal market for bananas, sugarcane, and avocado in East and Central Africa. Pass there anytime, you get a banana. You get a sugarcane for chewing, not the one from Mias, but the one for chewing. You get sugarcane, you'll get a banana, you get avocados. And a lot of traders from Nairobi, they come to Keumbu, they buy a sack of, 100-kilo sack of avocado for something like 600 shillings. Mutegi, if you go to Amsterdam and you buy a slice of avocado, you know what you pay. I think it's €1. The €1 is 100 shillings. A slice of avocado. €1 is actually 110 shillings. And you buy all sack for 600 shillings in Kisii. I don't know how many avocados will fit in one sack, maybe 1,000 individual units. So you see what is happening. There's pure robbery there. So I am proposing, and I want to actualize this, that we do a warehouse. I've talked to DC already, and I'm meeting you on Saturday. We do a warehouse in Keumbu. We'll probably spend a good cold room, maybe 100 million shillings. And mamas should bring these bananas and avocados to the cold room. Then the traders from Nairobi should come and pick their stock from the cold room and pay. The bananas, as you know, I'm an expert in warehousing. The bananas, the constituency will give the farmer a receipt. You weigh, you leave your banana there, you take a receipt. At the end of the month, come and pick your money. Or you can also do instant payment, but I believe instant payment will not give value. You can't remember. If you are picking 300 shillings every day, it will not create a big impact like if you came at the end of the month and you pick 300 times 100 bananas, then you are picking 30,000 bob, like the people for tea do. So that's one of the things I want to do for the Nyaribari Chache.
I have not heard you talk about value addition.
No, I'm coming there. You must start somewhere. I want to start with small. Yeah, I want to start with first our cold room. Make sure that you increase prices, because what happens now? You bring a banana at the market, at the road, because they sell at the road. If you don't sell it, you have a problem, even carrying it back home, because you can't leave it there. There's no security. So if I come and I won't pay you 300 for a banana, you had better take the 300 than walk with the same banana back to Nyamawa, which is 10 kilometers away from the market. So you take 300 and run. because from the BAM you bought it for 200, so you got 100 shillings, 50% profit. But if you leave it in the warehouse, can say there 2 weeks if it's in a cold room. Then Mudegi comes by a banana and he's told by the warehouse boy, this banana is 800 shillings. You say it's too expensive, you go. You don't have a banana, you come back. I tell you it is still 800 shillings. It's not gone bad. You pay 800 shillings. Because you know at Marigiti they sell a banana at 1,500. You still make money if you buy it at 800. Right now they're selling it at 300. So that's adding value at a very basic level.
I beg your
pardon. I want to move to the next stage.
I'll have to cut you because of time. There are a couple of questions here.
Yes,
perhaps if you could kindly answer them briefly.
Thank you.
We have one question here from Dr. Laban Chwe, Nyaribari Masaba. Says, Mheshimiwa, I'm happy for your past experience. What is your take on Odinga's and Kalonzo's comeback?
Thank you.
Briefly.
That's a very good one. My personal view is that Odinga is a great guy. And for all Kenyans, including Uhuru Kenyatta, they should thank Odinga for the political dispensation that has come to Kenya today. One of the biggest, including the media. Odinga is one of the people who has made sure that the media is enjoying unfettered access to information, to the extent that even when we are talking about parliamentarians or legislatures, when people think their salary is too high, anybody can talk about it without going to jail. In the past, you couldn't talk against certain people. So Odinga and the Kalonzo have done a big job. A lot of MPs are agitating for them to come back to Parliament. I have a different view. I think Odinga is a great guy. And all Kenyans, whether you like him or you hate him, you must respect him and you must say thank you to Raila Odinga for the new dispensation. Because I've been there and I know what's done. I've been there through the trenches with him. As I told you, he was jailed with me in Keumbu. That day my ear was busted. He's risked his life. He's gone probably the biggest political detainee. So now, what I'm saying, I would like to say that I don't want to see Odinga as the minority leader in Parliament sparring with Duale, because Duale is the majority leader. Yeah. Ideally, Duale will be his boss in Parliament. So I would like Odinga to strengthen the party, ODM, from outside Parliament, because he is our boss. And I would want Kalonzo Musyoka to be his deputy. They create structures so that ODM captures political leadership in 2017.
So you don't support their comeback in Parliament?
I think it would mean them.
All right. Another question here in relation to...
That's my personal position.
All right. You've been one of the members of Parliament pushing for members of Parliament to have more control of CDF. There's a question here from Angwenyi. He says, do you support CDF being controlled by MPs, looking at the history of how members of Parliament have been handling CDF?
My answer is yes and no. Yes, because the MP has the responsibility of development agenda in the constituency. No, because I would like the people in the constituency to take charge of their development agenda. But there's something I want you to remember. Before I go there, I know time is running short, but there's something I want you to remember. An MP or a leader is as good as his community. A leader is as bad as his community. There's this perception that MPs are corrupt. And if MPs handle CDF, then CDF will be stolen. But I also tell you that the rating for CDF was, I was not there, but it has been rated 70% success on access or trickling of consolidated fund to the grassroots. Now, if an MP is corrupt, then that society is corrupt. And I'm also going to pose a question to you. If you say the MP is corrupt, you put him aside. And this MP has been elected by Kenyans who are the fabric of corruption. You know, I was talking about all of us are corrupt because, to a certain extent, because of the way we've been brought up. I want to tell Kenyans that what we need to do is not to crucify the MP because he's the punching bag. Talk as Kenyans and say, can we stop corruption? Can we send Chris Bichage to jail when he has eaten CDF money? That's the point you should do. But if you say the MP should not control CDF, and then you say you give it somebody else in the constituency who was not elected, how do you guarantee that that will be cleaner than the MP? So that's the question I'm posing. My view is this: put structures in place which will make sure that CDF is not misused. And one of the reasons which has happened, get people elected, and the MP will only be a member of that committee. The MP cannot remove money alone. But if you say put the MP aside, and then you send money to the constituency, I don't subscribe to that.
Perhaps as we wind up, Nyagaka Tongi, a loser in the election, has filed a petition seeking to nullify your election as Member of Parliament.
Yes.
We have George Chwea from Kisii says, what is your take? Does that worry you?
Not at all. That's Nyagaka Tongi's constitutional right. You know, this is what I've been fighting for. When I was fighting for these things, probably Nyagaka was in school. Me, I support anybody to push his constitutional right to the limit, just like Raila challenged Uhuru Kenyatta. Nyagaka should go to every extent to make sure that he gets his right and let the courts determine. Because if he thinks I won unfairly, let's go to court, let him have his day in court. But the truth of the matter is the judge eventually should be the Nyaribari Chache, the voter. Whether I'm removed out of parliament now or not, the person who will determine who will lead him in these 4 years will be the Nyaribari Chache voter, not Nyagaka Chache, not Chris Bichage. Nyagaka Chache, for instance, goes to a funeral and tells people, oh, in 2007, I was number 2 in the elections of 2007. You know, that's basically cheating the public. And a good leader should never cheat anybody. In the public, you know, Monda was number 1, Nyachai was number 2, Bichage was number 3, Nyagaka was number 4. So when you stand in a funeral and say you are number 2, then let the people charge whom they want to elect.
All right.
But let him have his
Thank you so much indeed. It's been a great honor having you here on the Park Breakfast Show, talking to Dr. Chris Bichage, Member of Parliament of Nyaribari Chache constituency in Kisii County.